Vainglorious.
Vainglorious.
Valence.
Valence.
Veil.
Veil.
Valediction.
Valediction.
Valedictorian.
Valedictorian.
Valedictory.
Valedictory.
A valedictory speech. Valence.
Valence.
Valentine.
Valentine.
Be my Valentine.
Valet.
Valet.
Valet service.
A valeting service.
Valet parking.
Valet parking.
Valiant.
Valiant.
Tar threw himself in front of a train in a valiant effort to save the child.
Valid.
Valid.
A valid credit card.
Your return ticket is valid for 3 months.
Police officers must have a valid reason for stopping motorists.
I would question the validity of that statement.
Validate.
Validate.
The Supreme Court has validated the lower court's interpretation of the law.
Many scientists plan to wait until the results of the study are validated by future research.
Talking with people who think like you helps validate your feelings.
Valise.
Valise.
Valium.
Valium.
Valley.
Valley.
The San Fernando Valley.
Valor.
Valor.
Medals awarded for valor.
Deeds of valor. Valuable.
Valuable.
A valuable painting.
Their most valuable belongings were locked in a safe in the bedroom.
Muriel has made a valuable contribution to our company's success.
A job that gave him valuable experience.
I won't waste any more of your valuable time. Valuables.
Valuables.
Guests should leave their valuables in the hotel safe.
Valuation.
Valuation.
The property has a valuation of $1.6 billion. Value.
Value.
The alterations doubled the value of the house. The lunch special is really good value. At only £45 a night, the hotel is great value for money. Every customer is looking for value for money.
A group of athletes spoke to the students about the value of a college education.
The nutritional value of cereal. His research has been of little practical value. The Sioux Indians placed a high value on generosity.
The locket has great sentimental value.
The thieves took nothing of value. I hope this book will be of value to both teachers and students.
After the initial curiosity value, the product's sales dropped considerably.
A return to traditional values.
Your attitudes about sex are affected by your religious and moral values.
Let X have the value 25.
Shelley valued her privacy.
Mr. Yo valued Jan for her hard work.
We decided to get the house valued.
Paintings valued at over $200,000 were stolen from her home.
A valued friend.
Value-added tax.
Value-added tax.
Value judgment.
Value judgment.
Valueless.
Valueless.
Valueless currency.
On most political issues, my own opinion was pretty well valueless.
Valuer.
Valuer.
Valve.
Valve.
Heart valves.
Vamp.
Vamp.
Vampire.
Vampire.
Vampire bat.
Vampire bat.
Van.
Van.
A delivery van.
A van driver.
A luggage van.
She was in the van of the feminist movement.
Vandal.
Vandal.
Vandalism.
Vandalism.
Vandalize.
Vandalize.
The cemetery was vandalized during the night.
Vain.
Vain.
Vanguard.
Vanguard.
The shop has always been in the vanguard of London fashion trends.
Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Vanilla ice cream.
There are no plans for an inexpensive vanilla version of the software. Vanish.
Vanish.
My keys were here a minute ago, but now they've vanished.
The youngster vanished without a trace one day and has never been found. The bird vanished from sight.
She seemed to have just vanished into thin air.
By the 1930s, the wolf had vanished from the American West.
Public support for the Prime Minister has now vanished.
Vanishingly.
Vanishingly.
The chances of dying under anaesthetic are vanishingly small.
Vanishing point.
Vanishing point.
Vanity.
Vanity.
Sabrina had none of the vanity so often associated with beautiful women.
Vanity case.
Vanity case.
Vanity plate.
Vanity plate.
Vanity press.
Vanity press.
Vanity table.
Vanity table.
Vanquish.
Vanquish.
Vantage point.
Vantage point.
From my vantage point on the hill, I could see the whole procession.
The whole dispute looked silly from my vantage point.
Vapid.
Vapid.
Vapid conversation.
Vapor.
Vapor.
Vaporize.
Vaporize.
Vapor.
Vapor.
Water vapour.
Vapor trail.
Vapor trail.
Variable.
Variable.
Expect variable cloudiness and fog tomorrow.
Interest rates can be highly variable.
These fish are highly variable in color and pattern.
The quality of pork is often less variable than beef.
The heater has variable temperature settings.
There are too many variables in the experiment to predict the result accurately.
Variance.
Variance.
Tradition and culture are often at variance with the needs of modern living.
A price variance of 5%. The developer requested a variance to build a shopping centre on the east side of town.
Variant.
Variant.
This game is a variant of netball.
A variant on the typical Hollywood hero.
Spelling variants in British and American English.
A variant form of the word.
Variation.
Variation.
White bread is really just a variation of French bread.
Variations in the quality of the rugs. There is a great deal of variation among the responses.
The study concluded that the variation between the CD players was very small.
Most of his poems are variations on the theme of love.
Bach's Goldberg Variations.
Varicose veins.
Varicose veins.
Varied.
Varied.
A varied diet.
The responsibilities of government are many, and they are varied.
A good teacher is aware of the extremely varied needs of each student.
Variegated.
Variegated.
Variegated grasses.
Variety.
Variety.
The girls come from a variety of different backgrounds.
I really like the variety the store has to offer.
Occasionally working from home adds variety to a job.
The lake has more than 20 varieties of fish.
Lon has no patience with anything of the child variety.
Variety show.
Variety show.
Variety store.
Variety store.
Varifocals.
Varifocals.
Various.
Various.
The jacket is available in various colours.
There are various ways to answer your question. He decided to leave school for various reasons. The reasons why teenage girls get pregnant are many and various.
Variously.
Variously.
The phenomena variously known as mass culture, popular culture, or the public arts.
His fortune has been variously estimated at between $1 billion and $2 billion.
Varnish.
Varnish.
Varsity.
Varsity.
The varsity football team.
The varsity match.
The varsity match. Vary.
Vary.
Test scores vary from school to school.
The heights of the plants vary from 8 centimetres to 20 centimetres.
Flowers that vary in colour and size.
Medical treatment varies greatly from state to state.
Cooking times may vary slightly, depending on your oven.
Charges vary according to size.
She has tried different diets with varying degrees of success.
Tests of varying levels of difficulty.
Quentin's mood seems to vary according to the weather.
What do you wear when you go out? Well, it varies. The doctor said I should vary my diet more.
Vascular.
Vascular.
Vascular disease.
Vase.
Vase.
Vasectomy.
Vasectomy.
Vaseline.
Vaseline.
Vassal.
Vassal.
A vassal state.
Vast.
Vast.
The government will have to borrow vast amounts of money.
The refugees come across the border in vast numbers.
Vast areas of rainforest.
In the past 5 years, there has been a vast improvement in graduation rates.
The vast majority of books on the subject are complete rubbish.
Vastly.
Vastly.
This book is vastly superior to his last one.
Vastly different opinions.
VAT.
Vatican.
Vatican.
The Vatican is taking a hard line on birth control.
Vaudeville.
Vaudeville.
Vault.
Vault.
The robber vaulted over the counter and took $200 in cash.
On Sunday, Michigan vaulted from number 4 to the nation's top team.
Vaulted.
Vaulted.
Vaulting.
Vaulting.
Gothic vaulting.
A man of vaulting ambition with the talents to match.
Vaunted.
Vaunted.
There's little sign that the much vaunted IT investment is pulling France out of recession.
Va-va-voom. Va-va-voom. There's a real feeling of va-va-voom in the club.
V-chip.
V-chip.
VCJD.
BCJD.
VCR.
VCR.
VD.
VD.
VDT.
VDT.
VDU.
VDU.
VDU operators.
Of.
We finished.
Veal.
Veal.
Vector.
Vector.
Mosquitoes are feared as vectors of malaria.
VJ.
VJ.
Veer.
Veer.
A tanker driver died when his lorry veered off the motorway.
The plane veered off course.
Follow the path and veer left after 400 meters.
The wind was veering north.
This latest proposal appears to veer in the direction of democratic ideals.
The conversation veered back to politics.
Veg.
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 Fruit and veg.
Ralph vegged out in front of the TV all day again.
Vegan.
Vegan.
A strict vegan diet.
Veggie burger.
Veggie burger.
Vegetable.
Vegetable.
Fresh fruit and vegetables.
Organic methods of growing vegetables.
Vegetable soup.
A neat vegetable garden.
Vitamin A is found in liver and green vegetables.
Decomposing vegetable matter.
Broccoli.
Broccoli.
Cabbage.
Cabbage.
Cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
Brussels sprout.
Brussels sprout.
Green bean.
Green bean.
French bean.
French bean.
Celery.
Celery.
A stick of celery. Asparagus.
Asparagus.
Courgette.
Courgette.
Zucchini.
Zucchini.
Leek.
Leek.
Watercress.
Watercress.
A bunch of watercress.
Pea. Pea.
Roast chicken with peas and carrots.
Mange tout.
Mange tout.
Snow pea.
Snow pea. Spring onion.
Spring onion.
Green onion.
Green onion.
Aubergine.
Aubergine.
Eggplant.
Eggplant.
Garlic.
Garlic.
Add a crushed clove of garlic.
His garlicky breath.
Pepper. Pepper.
Salt and pepper.
A speech peppered with amusing stories.
The surface of the moon is peppered with craters. Machine gun fire peppered the front of the building.
Reporters peppered him with questions.
Pepper the steak well.
Peppered salami.
Bell pepper.
Bell pepper.
Carrot.
Carrot.
Grated carrots.
Carrot juice.
They have refused to sign the agreement despite a carrot of £140 million.
The government's carrot and stick approach in getting young people to find jobs.
Squash.
Squash.
The cake got a bit squashed on the way here.
Her hair has been squashed down by her hat.
Move over, you're squashing me. 7 of us squashed into the car.
We can probably squash another couple of things in.
Her suggestions were always squashed. The government was quick to squash any hopes of reform.
She felt anger rising, but quickly squashed it.
The others squashed up against Joe.
A squash court.
Glass of orange squash.
Turnip.
Turnip.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin pie.
Radish.
Radish.
Parsnip.
Parsnip.
Swede.
Swede.
Rutabaga.
Rutabaga.
Beetroot.
Beetroot.
Beet.
Beet.
Tomato.
Tomato.
Sweet potato.
Sweet potato.
Mushroom.
Mushroom.
Mushroom soup.
New housing developments mushroomed on the edge of town.
Kale.
Kale.
Cucumber.
Cucumber.
Okra.
Okra.
Corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob.
Broad bean.
Broad bean.
Father bean.
Fava bean.
Fennel.
Fennel.
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian.
Our youngest daughter is a vegetarian.
Dishes suitable for vegetarians.
I'm thinking about becoming a vegetarian.
A vegetarian restaurant.
Vegetarianism.
Vegetarianism.
Vegetate.
Vegetate.
I was determined when I retired that I wasn't just going to vegetate. Vegetation.
Vegetation.
Lefkes has an abundance of lush green vegetation.
Vegetative.
Vegetative.
Veggie. Veggie.
Fresh veggies.
Veggie lasagna and chips.
Vehement.
Vehement.
Despite vehement opposition, the act became law.
Despite her vehement protests, he pulled her aside.
Dan vehemently denies the charges.
The vehemence of her answer surprised them both.
Vehicle.
Vehicle.
A description of the stolen vehicle.
Have you locked your vehicle?
The 1936 Olympics were used as a vehicle for Nazi propaganda.
Eastern Eye is an important vehicle for black British opinion.
This is the perfect vehicle for Fleming to make his triumphant return to the stage. MGM made the film as a star vehicle for Brando.
Vehicular.
Vehicular.
Vehicular traffic.
No vehicular access.
Veil.
Veil.
She lifted her veil with both hands.
A bridal veil.
I think it best to draw a veil over the whole incident.
Watson deserves credit for lifting the veil of secrecy surrounding Brenda's death.
His pornography was covered by a veil of respectability.
The moon was hidden behind a veil of clouds.
The details of the evacuation are veiled in secrecy.
A black kerchief modestly veiled her hair.
A fine rain was beginning to veil the hills.
Veiled.
Veiled.
His speech is being seen as a veiled attack on asylum seekers.
I'm impressed, said Greg with thinly veiled sarcasm.
Jasper remained silent, and his eyes were veiled.
Vein.
Vein.
The pulmonary vein.
She felt the blood racing through her veins as they kissed. Veins of gold.
There was more humour in much the same vein.
Poems in a lighter vein.
In voicing our fear of old age, Rivers has discovered a rich vein of comedy.
Veined.
Veined.
Black-veined marble.
He grasped her feeble-veined hand.
Velar.
Velar.
Velcro.
Velcro.
Velt.
Velt.
Vellum.
Vellum.
Medieval maps inscribed on vellum.
Velocity.
Velocity.
The velocity of light.
The speedboat reached a velocity of 120 miles per hour.
A high-velocity bullet.
Martinez had good velocity on his fastball.
Velodrome.
Velodrome.
Velour.
Velour.
Gold velour curtains.
Velux.
Velux.
Velvet.
Velvet.
Green velvet drapes.
Velveteen.
Velveteen.
Velvety.
Velvety.
The velvety texture of her skin.
His voice was soft and velvety.
Venal.
Venal.
Our venal politicians.
His venality has discredited Parliament.
Vend.
Vend.
Street vending.
Vendetta.
Vendetta.
He accused the British media of pursuing a vendetta against him.
The victim of a political vendetta.
The two sides have been engaged in a bitter private vendetta.
Vendettas between rival gangs.
Vending machine.
Vending machine.
Vendor.
Vendor.
He bought a copy from a newspaper vendor.
The shouts of street vendors.
Leading software vendors.
Vendor. Veneer.
Veneer.
A thin veneer of politeness hid Lady Bride's growing anger.
Veneered.
Veneered.
Veneered doors.
Venerable.
Venerable.
Venerable financial institutions.
The venerable guitarist Pat Martino.
A venerable tradition.
Venerate.
Venerate.
A symbol of Arab courage, to be venerated for generations.
These children are venerated as holy beings.
The psalm was an object of veneration.
Venereal disease.
Venereal disease.
Venetian blind.
Venetian blind.
Vengeance.
Vengeance.
A desire for vengeance.
A vow of vengeance.
An act of vengeance. The music started up again with a vengeance.
Vengeful.
Vengeful.
A vengeful god.
Venial.
Venial.
A venial sin.
Venison.
Venison.
Venn diagram.
Venn diagram.
Venom.
Venom.
There was real venom in her voice.
A look of pure venom.
The viper paralyzes its prey by injecting it with venom.
Venomous.
Venomous.
Lisa shot him a venomous glance.
Reed reserved his most venomous attack for the rail authority.
Venus.
Venus.
Vent.
Vent.
A blocked air vent.
A volcanic vent.
Children give vent to their anger in various ways.
He knew that if he gave full vent to his feelings it would upset Joanna. If he's had a bad day, Paul vents his anger on the family.
I could hear Mum venting her frustration by banging the pots noisily. The meeting gave us a chance to vent our spleen.
Ventilate.
Ventilate.
A well-ventilated kitchen.
Both patients are sedated and ventilated.
The important thing is to ventilate your anger.
A ventilation system. Artificial ventilation.
Ventilator.
Ventilator.
He was put on a ventilator, but died 2 hours later.
Ventral.
Ventral.
Its ventral fins are orange.
Ventricle.
Ventricle.
Ventriloquist.
Ventriloquist.
Venture.
Venture.
When darkness fell, he would venture out. She paused before venturing up the steps to the door.
Children who lack the confidence to venture into libraries.
You're on holiday here, he ventured.
I ventured to ask him what he was writing. If we had more information, it would be easier to venture a firm opinion.
Roy ventured a tentative smile.
I ventured that the experiment was not conclusive.
Banks are venturing into insurance.
I thought I might venture on a new recipe.
Venture capital.
Venture capital.
Venturesome.
Venturesome.
Venue.
Venue.
The first thing to do is book a venue.
The band will play as many venues as possible.
The venue for the latest round of talks.
Venus.
Venus.
The high surface temperatures of Venus.
Veracity.
Veracity.
Has anyone checked the veracity of these allegations?
Veranda.
Veranda.
Verb.
Verb.
Verbal.
Verbal.
Verbal skills.
Verbal abuse from other kids on the street.
Verbal nouns.
Her boss failed to stop the other workers from verbally abusing her.
Maria was getting loads of verbal from her staff.